Testing, testing. Alrighty, before we get started here today, just wanted to give everyone a quick reminder to hide your line badges and that photography is prohibited on base. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Colonel Douglas Wickert, Commander of the 412th Test Wing, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today to celebrate the ribbon cutting of the Agility Prime eVTOL partnership. My name is Lieutenant Easterbrook, Emerging Technologies Project eVTOL Lead Engineer, and it is my honor to serve as your Master of Ceremonies today. During the National Anthem, we ask that military personnel render a salute and our civilians place the right hand over their hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. Remain standing for the posting of the colors by Edwards Blue Eagles Honor Guard, the singing of our national anthem by Miss Rachel Bradshaw, followed by the invocation of Chaplain Heather Bodwell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Chaplain Bodwell will now offer the invocation.
In accordance with your faith tradition, I invite you to prayer. Let us pray. Gracious God, we invoke your blessing upon this ribbon-cutting ceremony. We are grateful that you have blessed us with the knowledge and skills that we can dedicate this shelter for the purpose of providing AFWERX Agility Prime tactical maintenance. We are also thankful for the partnership regarding AFWERX Prime Initiative and Edwards Air Force Base. You have given us many gifts in life for which to be thankful. We recognize that with these gifts, you also have given us important responsibilities. We ask your blessing to be not only with those who've made this day possible, but most especially let your blessing be upon those who will be involved in the future operation of the shelter. They will need your strength, wisdom, and patience in order to let this be a place of service for them rather than just a place of duty. We pray all of these things in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Bodwell. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We'd also like to take this time to welcome our distinguished guests. Please hold all your applause until the end. From Edwards Air Force Base, Brigadier General Matthew Heiger, representing the Air Force Test Center. Colonel Douglas Wickert, Commander of the 412 Test Wing. Colonel Grant Mizell, Deputy Commander of the Air Force Test Center. Mr. Daniel Osborne, Senior Technical Director, 412 Test Wing. Chief Master Sergeant Justin Stoltzfus, Command Chief Master Sergeant, 412 Test Wing. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Pacini, Commander of 416th Flight Test Squadron. Mr. Stephen Jensen, Director of Research and Engineering at NASA Armstrong Flight Research Center. Mr. Wayne Ringelberg, Chief Pilot for NASA AFRC. From AFWERX, we have Colonel Elliot Lee, Director. From Joby Aviation, we have Paul Ciara, Chairman, Board of Directors. Lieutenant General Scott Howell, United States Air Force retired, and Joby Board of Directors. Mr. Didier Papadopoulos, Head of Aircraft Program. You guys can... All right. We'd also like to extend a warm welcome to all commanders, directors, chiefs, first sergeant, friends, and colleagues. Before remarks, please turn your attention to the screen for a brief video presented by Joby Aviation. I'm delighted to introduce Major Philip Woodhull, Director of the Emerging Technologies Integrated Task Force.
Honored guests, thank you all for being here today. We are here starting a new chapter in the rich heritage of Edwards Air Force Base, testing and evaluating new capabilities for both the warfighter and greater industry. From the first sonic boom to hypersonic speeds, Edwards remains at the pinnacle of airspace achievement. The Emerging Technologies Integrated Test Force, part of the Air Power Foundation's Combined Test Force in the 412 Test Wing, will be leading the flight test campaign for Joby and Agility Prime here at Edwards. This is the next leap for the 7-year-old Emerging Technologies ITF, who continue here at Edwards to lead the evaluation of emerging technologies and provide decision quality data at the speed of relevance. This partnership between AFWERX, Agility Prime, and the ETITF is a new, direct, agile path to progress technology through the acquisition's valley of death. This is yet another example of the 412 Test Wing's commitment to broader collaboration with industry to establish innovation for our national defense. Over the next months and years, ETITF will be writing with a new style in this chapter, not only integrating developmental test and operational test, but also experimental test. We will utilize the 412 Test Wing's world-renowned risk management systems to conduct flight testing and evaluation of eVTOL technology in a safe and agile manner. The accomplishments we see here today are a testament to the ingenuity, hard work, and sense of urgency shown by the men and women of the ETITF in association with so many other groups across Edwards Air Force Base. We are grateful to all who have had a part in getting us to this point. We are eager to continue the work before us. ET, let's tear it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Woodhull. Our next speaker, overseeing this new era of aviation, the Director of AFWERX, Colonel Elliot Lee.
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to say it's great to be back here at the center of the aerospace testing universe. We didn't call it that when I was here 20 years ago, cutting my teeth as a young test engineer in the 416th. But it is certainly true, it has always been true. You saw the video. This is the location where some of our greatest accomplishments in the world in aviation have happened. Sound barrier was broken 76 years ago. It's the site of some of our greatest aircraft development and delivery, and it will continue to be the site where our Air Force's next generation bomber, our next generation systems are delivered. And so it's only fitting that this is where this partnership between AFWERX and Joby and the 412 Test Wing takes place. I want to talk about partnerships for a little bit here. At AFWERX, we believe that American ingenuity is the key to winning wars. And it has always been that way. It is what led 80 airmen to take 16 bombers off the deck of an aircraft carrier and take the fight to Japan in 1942 in response to Pearl Harbor. We believe that airmen are the key to innovation in air power, and that's why we have programs at AFWERX, programs like Spark, programs like Ventures, and programs like Prime. The Agility Prime program was stood up because we believe that there is a future with vehicles like the one you see behind me here. There's a transformative vertical lift industry that's emerging, and we need to be partners in it. In 1903, the Wright brothers, when they did their first flight, they did it alone. There were 5 people watching at Kill Devil Hill. Not one of them was from the government. And so on the one hand, you recognize that the private sector are innovators. They were the first to build a flying machine. And because we were not partners then, it was 5 years before the U.S. War Department acquired their first flying machine, and many years before we really understood and unlocked the potential. Imagine how the Great War would have turned out, Joint Chiefs. And I'm looking forward, as Joby works to change the way that we live our lives through transformative vertical lift, we will be side by side changing the way that we defend our nation and serve our country. So I look forward to the partnership and the progress that we have to come. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, Colonel Lee. Let's now turn our attention to the Chairman of the Board of Directors of Joby Aviation, Mr. Paul Ciara.
So Major Woodhull, thank you for hosting us here today at Edwards Air Force Base. Good morning, I'm Paul Sciarra, Executive Chairman at Joby Aviation. Colonel Wickert, Colonel Lee, Chief Pilot Ringelberg, it's an honor to be sharing the platform here today on behalf of the entire Joby team. And to all our guests, whether here in person or joining us on the live stream, thank you for being here as well. I know our founder and CEO, Joe Ben Bevirt, very much wishes he could be here today as well. But unfortunately, he's back in Northern California, isolating after a COVID exposure. Now, today's delivery of a Joby aircraft to Edwards Air Force Base marks the culmination of 7 years of a very significant public-private partnership between Joby Aviation and the Department of Defense. It's a partnership that over time has extended across a wide range of stakeholders, including the Defense Innovation Unit, AFWERX, Agility Prime, NASA, the Air Force, the Marines, and many others. The early interest that the DoD showed in Joby's capabilities had a profound impact on our company, and from my perspective, the future of electric flight here in the US. Today's delivery is a hugely significant moment for Joby and for our industry. But more than that, it's a validation of the long-term vision of the Department of Defense. Now, this relationship began with the Defense Innovation Unit back in 2016. DIU was founded to discover and scale critical commercial technologies, and they quickly recognized the potential for our aircraft to modernize the way we move people and cargo in both commercial and government settings. Now, with uninterrupted access to DoD testing facilities, we were able to conduct thousands of test flights across multiple sub and full-scale prototypes, enabling rapid iteration and validation of this design. More recently, we've welcomed the opportunity to extend this contract several times, supported by interest almost across the DoD. With NASA, we've measured the acoustic footprint of this vehicle. We've worked to demonstrate how we can operate it in today's airspace. The U.S. Marine Corps has worked with us to explore use cases for the aircraft. And earlier this year, we were honored to welcome 4 U.S. Air Force pilots who spent several weeks with us learning to pilot the vehicle. Put simply, access to DoD expertise, feedback, funding, and facilities has been and will continue to be invaluable to us as we develop, certify, and commercialize this aircraft. Now, with that support, Joby has been able to deliver on an aircraft that we think is groundbreaking. It's designed to fly 100 miles on a single charge at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. It's designed to carry 4 passengers and a pilot or 1,000 pounds of payload. It has fewer parts than a helicopter and no single points of failure. The fly-by-wire unified flight controls, really modeled on those of the F-35B, make it very simple to fly. And today, thanks to all of your support, we're proud to be delivering an aircraft that is not only the first fixed-wing eVTOL or electric air taxi to be delivered to the Air Force, but is also, we believe, the lightest, quietest, and most performant air taxi anywhere in the world. Now, as other folks have mentioned, more than 80 years ago, this lake bed was where the first American jet fighter flew, marking a critical milestone in our ability to fly faster, higher, and further. Aircraft tested here marked the dawn of the jet age. They brought the world closer together, and they sparked an explosion in global trade and travel. Now, at first, those jets were expensive, they were rare, and in comparison to those that we fly every day, they were limited in range and performance. But today, from that very early start, those aircraft have become the cheapest, safest, and fastest form of transportation that we've ever seen. Now, of course, jet aircraft are critical to our armed forces, but at the same time, they've also become the linchpin of global commercial transit. The jet engine has helped to generate more than $800 billion in annual revenue per year for U.S. companies, and more than $80 billion in U.S. trade surplus, the largest of any category. The U.S. led the way on jet travel, thanks in great part to the U.S. military leadership, really due to the work that happened right here. And today, electric propulsion promises a similar today is a similar milestone against a similarly important opportunity. And again, just like 80 years ago, America is leading the way right here. Now, today's achievement is the result of the U.S. Air Force's relentless pursuit of the best technology and our relentless commitment to delivering. For our part, we remain on track to deliver a second aircraft here to Edwards by early 2024 and I'm pleased to confirm today that the aircraft behind me has already started flying through free hover tests just earlier last week. Now, of course, we have plenty more to do as we demonstrate the mission capabilities of this vehicle and progress testing. But today we think is a moment of celebration. We're celebrating the achievement of the goals we set out to achieve together. We're celebrating the success of this critical public-private partnership. And we're celebrating American leadership in what we think is an important new field of dual-use technology. On behalf of the entire Joby team, it's an honor to be putting this aircraft here at Edwards, and we look forward to flying together. Thank you.
Thank you for your insights, Mr. Ciara. I'd now like to invite the Chief Pilot of NASA AFRC, Mr. Wayne Ringelberg.
Thank you. I'm certainly excited to be here. I think also very excited to be on this team. I'm pretty sure they'd probably pull my test pilot card if I wasn't wanting to say that I want to fly that thing. So definitely excited to be here. Also happy that several of my bosses in the crowd allowed me to get up here to have a pilot talk to you. So we'll work through this together. Armstrong's Flight Research Center, which many of you know, is just right up the street here. It's located on Edwards Air Force Base, and it has a long history of supporting important technological milestones in aviation and in space, including supersonic and hypersonic flight, digital fly-by-wire flight control systems, supporting the space shuttles, and also continued support of NASA's Artemis mission to return us to the moon and onto Mars. But we also have a history with several of the partners here today. NASA has partnered with AFRL on several projects, one of which I got to fly, which was the X-56 demonstrator, which demonstrated active flutter suppression of a highly flexible wing. Joby Aviation partnered with NASA on its National Campaign Project. We were able to look at the acoustics of these emerging electric air taxi vehicles, and we also got access to their fairly high-fidelity simulator to do some airspace integration testing. Armstrong has a long-standing alliance with the 412 Test Wing here for sharing of resources. Through this interagency agreement with AFWERX, it affords the opportunity for NASA to have hands-on experience with these emerging technologies. The focus of our testing here will be concentrated on how these types of aircraft can fit into existing airspace for everyday use. One of the main things we'll learn is we'll get a first-hand understanding of how these kinds of aircraft fly. And that understanding will inform our research in several areas to help support this emerging technology, including air traffic management, how these aircraft will integrate into current airspace structure, what kind of ground-based infrastructure we might need, and also help inform standards makers for how we can certify these vehicles. NASA and AFWERX are both trying to advance technology around air taxis. Although we're looking at different aspects of missions for these aircraft, there are several areas that overlap, and it's in those areas of overlap that we'll gain efficiencies in learning about these kinds of vehicles. We certainly are committed to equitable sharing, and I'm sure AFWERX is as well. Equitable sharing of resources to advance the technology for the benefit of the U.S., DoD, and the public. So let's go fly.
Thank you for those words, Mr. Ringelberg. Finally, offering a few words today, I'd like to invite the commander of the 412 Test Wing, Colonel Douglas Wickert.
So just looking at that, I mean, you're looking at the future. That is obvious. Welcome to another historic occasion here at Edwards Air Force Base, the center of the aerospace testing universe. And it's exciting. I mean, we are literally standing on the threshold here of a new era in aviation. It's a great partnership. I'm thrilled that NASA's part of it. AFWERX is Agility Prime. Of course, Joby and the Emerging Technologies, CTF, part of our 412 Test Wings, Air Power Foundation's Combined Test Force. As everybody's pointed out, for more than 3/4 of a century, the skies here around Edwards Air Force Base have echoed with pioneering achievements. The first sonic boom, hypersonic flights, the first landings of the space shuttle, these lake beds, these runways, they have all launched the future of aviation. Edwards and NASA, and actually the NACA before it was even NASA, have been long-standing partners in pioneering engineering for flight. The skies over Rogers Dry Lake were never the limit. They were just the stage where the future was created. So the delivery of the world's first eVTOL aircraft at Edwards continues our rich heritage of testing new capabilities. The ITF is going to leverage the 412 test wings, renowned expertise in engineering, renowned expertise in risk management, to safely conduct the future test of the next generation eVTOL technology. There's no doubt that the electrification of aviation is going to be a critical piece in the broader energy transition. And I'm proud that we get to the opportunity to contribute to a sustainable future for humanity. The arrival of Joby here includes the installation of a new purpose-built infrastructure. This reflects a broad commitment to our testing as well as evaluation capability. It's the culmination of years of effort, expertise, innovation, and it's just one more example of the spirit that has defined Edwards Air Force Base for generations. We are not just going to cut a ribbon here and open a door. I think that's kind of a door. We are literally opening the skies to a better future for both civil and military eVTOL. So the 412 Test Wing is honored and proud to partner with NASA, Agility Prime, Joby as we forge forward and embrace the future of advanced air mobility. Our legacy is a testament to the endearing spirit of exploration, and today we launch a new era of flight. Through the work of this test team, the electric dreams of today are going to become the aviation realities of tomorrow. May the winds of progress be tailwinds.
Thank you for those words, Colonel Wickert. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the ribbon cutting portion of the ceremony. Will our speakers please come forward and join us for the cutting? Please take these scissors and prepare to cut. No running. And now, leaders, on the count of 3, please cut the ribbon. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Thank you all for being here on this momentous day. This concludes our ceremony. We will now transition to tours and refreshments. If you'd like a tour, please come meet myself and a couple other folks to the left of the lambs, or to my left on the right side of the lambs. Or if you're interested in refreshments, please look to your left. Just like to say for the media interviews, please come forward and meet us over here, and we'll go from there. And a final special thanks to everyone who helped make today a reality. Thank you.